Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Allegedly Credible. This is your host. This is Danielle, aka Lady Faye, and I have
the co-host, Mellow Supremo, aka Mel.
And this, just so you guys know, we are two friends and we're giving you our thoughts and opinions and our advice based on what we've learned through life thus far. It's all a learning curve. And I give this disclaimer through every episode. Our thoughts and views are constantly evolving. We are not experts, nor do we claim to be, and we won't always agree with each other, and that's okay. And we're hoping you guys will take whatever advice you need and do whatever you want with the rest. You know, you're free to think however you want. So this episode, we're going to be talking about, is practicing celibacy or staying abstinent from sex for you? So here we go. We're going to start just by talking what is celibacy and why do people do it?
Do we have a Webster's dictionary definition of what celibacy is so we can all be on the same page? Not saying I don't know what it means, but, for the listeners.
Right.
For the listeners.
Right. Hold on one second. I had it. From what I understand, here we go. It's the state of abstaining from marriage and sexual relations.
Marriage and sexual relations?
I don't know.
Marriage relations and sexual,
it says the state of abstaining from marriage and sexual relations, but I think there's another definition. Let's look up the difference between celibacy and abstinence.
Celibacy, abstinence
versus abstinence. There we go. And it says abstinence usually refers to the decision to not have penetrative sex. It is typically limited to a specific period of time, such as until marriage. And celibacy is a vow to remain abstinent over an extended period of time. So for some of people, that might be their entire life. So here we go. If you listen to our episode based on our sexual experiences back in season 1, and if you've listened to any other episodes, you already know that we did not practice this. I mean, we were taught it. I grew up, you save yourself till marriage and stuff. But at the same time, my parents are really open in terms of if you choose to, make sure you're safe, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, my parents were just don't do what we did.
Yeah.
And that's having a child at 19.
Yeah. So I think in that, now I never was out here on these streets,
right,
having sex with multiple people, but I feel like I'm at a point in my life right now where I decided I want to just remain. I'm abstaining from sexual relations until I find somebody who's actually aligned with my life path and where I want to go, who has a little bit more of my core values. I think I know a little bit more of what I want now compared to how it was before. So because of that, I'm at a point in my life where I'm just kind of okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait it out.
Yeah. And the fact that it's your choice, because it's not like you don't got options. This girl got options on her. But for me, y'all know my situation. I'm married, but I want to say that through our relationship, things have gotten a lot drier, and I think that most of it comes from me because I'm not really looking.
Right.
Every day I'm tired, and I'm not putting sex high in my priority list when I have 50 million things that I feel like I need to take care of. So I think my mentality is more so sex is a privilege, and if you deserve it, or if you, what's the word? If you, I
don't know.
If you
what you talking?
when, you deserve it, you earned it.
You earned it. But see,
if I did everything I was supposed to do prior, then I get to enjoy myself and have sex.
But I feel like that's kind of dangerous, though.
It is
a dangerous thought.
It shouldn't be that way. That's just what it is, though.
It's just I feel like it's a dangerous thought because it's just kind of that goes to one of the questions. It's just is sex how important is sex in a relationship. And I think that sometimes
it's very important.
It's a very intimate act. Now, I have heard of couples who are together and have been together for a long time, abstaining for sex for a period of time because they're working on relationship building. Like they're trying to focus on like getting more intimate with each other, like most on physical touch and stuff like that. And then later, coming back to sex, and they say that when they abstain from the sex for long periods of time,
it was better.
The sex was better because they felt more connected. So do you think that you and your husband would be willing to practice that and see where it goes?
Well, okay, so when we're absent, I wouldn't say that it's on purpose. It just happens. Like, since I'm not the initiator, and from all those times prior of like, oh, deny, he kind of just like, I'm just going to play it cool. And if it happens, it happens, which is kind of sad. Not kind of sad. It actually is really sad. Like now he's waiting for me to give some type of sign, and our communication, our sexual communication is like, it's like we're illiterate.
So my question now is like, well, what do you do to work on that? Like, since you guys are kind of like,
now we have to, now we actually have to make a point. It's like, hey, we have to be obvious with it.
Right. Okay. So now my question for you is like, would you ever just practice it, like having like intentional, like right now you guys are unintentional, but would you ever take a period of time where it's like, okay, we're going to do like intentional abstinence from sex just to kind of focus on these specific relationship skills.
That's a good
and then
question.
From there, kind of go from there. And then another question I have is, what if you were in a relationship with somebody and then halfway through you're like, you know what? For me personally, I need to be abstinent. But your partners are not okay with that. Like, what do you do?
That happened to me.
That happened to me? Okay. So what happened? Tell us what happened.
So this was like when I was in my teens, and I was going with this dude, and we weren't like boyfriend and girlfriend, but we agreed. Well, I thought that we agreed that we were friends with benefits. And, we had our extracurricular activities. Did I just pick a crouton out of my shirt?
She ate it. And then she ate it, y'all. Did you see that?
Anyway.
I can't.
Anyway. So one of the days.
I'm sorry, how long that been there? Like, how long was it there?
I just came from lunch, okay?
Okay. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's kind of sweet. I don't even know what that was. Oh. It was one of Rose's crackers. Anyway.
Okay, life of a mom. Yeah. Life of a mom. Go ahead.
So after constantly like going back and forth to each other's houses doing the thing, he was just like, hey Mel, I decided to go and save myself for marriage. I was like, what? Like, after all the things that we've done? Like, is there any, can you be redeemed after that? Like, cause I was there. I know what went on in those. But hey, that's you. But don't keep calling me saying like, hey, you want to hang out?
Wow.
And that's exactly what he did.
Wow. So what if he was actually trying to build a relationship with you from there?
I didn't have a problem, but don't try to like front on me saying like, oh, I'm the heathen. I'm not the heathen, nigga. You the one that's calling me to come over. Okay. And I would have to go and take a whole train. I had to jump onto the New Jersey Transit and take 2 trains to get to his place. And he tried to say, oh, I'm saving myself for marriage. Dude.
Okay, but okay. So
and I'm saying, like, I'm like, since we were just friends with benefits, I was like, I don't even understand why you're telling me. Like, we're not in a committed relationship. Not like I was I wasn't going for other people.
Okay.
But why are you telling me this? Like, okay, go ahead, do you. The next week, hey, yo, you want to chill? I'm thinking that we're just going to chill and hang out. No, we're in somebody's basement getting in.
Oh, so he told you that and then tried to have sex with you after?
And then said, oh, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't want to see you anymore. I was like, okay.
Oh,
then the next few days, hey, what are you doing? I miss you. What part?
Well, okay, all right. Well, maybe he was conflicted. I don't know this dude, so I'm not trying to defend him, whatever. But maybe he was conflicted. Maybe it was a decision he made, but it was hard for him to actually stick with that decision.
And that's the thing.
Because we are of the flesh.
We are of the flesh.
And we want what we want.
And my flesh was begging him to come back, apparently.
Which leads to my next question, because I think that sometimes with celibacy, like if you're practicing celibacy or abstaining
you gotta
from
be
sex,
all in.
I feel like it can also get very lonely.
I mean,
it can get very lonely. I'm going to speak from my perspective, because I feel like it can get extremely lonely. And then almost like any attention is a lot, because I think I'll say this, and please don't judge me. Even if you did, I don't really care too much. But there are periods of time where I went with long like stretches of being celibate and or abstaining from sex. And I told myself I was going to for a long period of time. And then some guy comes along, and I kind of knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. And I knew, and in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, let me hold off. Let me do this because this isn't what I want. And then I ended up, having some type of relation with them. And then I'm disappointed in myself. Mm-hmm. So I think that, and then I was able to go again with a long stretch. So I think that sometimes it's like when you make a vow to yourself of, I want this and I want this, it's like hard to be like, oh, it's just hard to remain celibate, because like I said, it becomes lonely. It can become very lonely, especially when you got used to being touched. I get why some people say wait until marriage, because once you know what it feels like, it's hard to not want it anymore. Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense. But then again, there are couples who go to marriage and then they don't have a sex life whatsoever. Like, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know yet, but I'm telling you right now, in my head, I can't picture myself being in a relationship where we're not having sex like on a regular basis.
Like every day?
Like what would be,
yeah, go ahead. What would be your...
I don't know if I need it every day, but at least 3 times a week, at least 3 to 4. Like, I'm very like
I'm telling you though,
at least 3 to 4, but I don't do it often. I honestly don't do it often. So that's why I think maybe because I go through such long stretches of time. And it's crazy because I feel like I switch roles, because for a long time, I never enjoyed sex. Like I would have, and then I'm like, I cannot do it for a while because I don't like it. Yeah. But then, which if you listen to past podcasts, y'all know when it changed. And then I started to enjoy it a lot more, and I figured out what I liked and stuff like that, and finding it's like weird, because I'm going to say this as well. Growing up, and it was just like, oh yeah, don't have sex, wait for a certain partner. But I honestly kind of don't know if I would have known what I liked and figured out myself a little bit better if I didn't like be with other people, if that makes sense. So it's like kind of hard. So now that I know what I want, now it's easier for me to be like, okay, I can wait. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Cause I was going to say, even if you started earlier, it's a good thing that you started when you started, because then you get to know what works. And then if you were to take that abstinence, you'd be able to communicate with a clear mind, like, hey, Danielle likes blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, it makes the experience even better.
Right. And I think that also it can be a little bit empowering too, because you kind of, to know that you can say no to certain people, to know that you're not going to put up with anybody's like bull and crap and just be like, you know what? I went through that phase where I felt like I needed to be validated physically, but now I'm like, I don't feel like I need that validation anymore. Don't get me wrong. I like to know that you want me and that you're attracted to me and that you want to touch me. But at the same time, it's just like, that's not enough to just get to that next level. Like now I'm like, I need communication. I need some commitment. I need to know that you're working hard to achieve your goals. I have to know you have some ambition. I have to know that you are, healthy, like you take care of yourself. Like, how are we gonna, if we have kids, because if you have sex, there's a huge opportunity you're gonna have some kids at some point. How are we gonna raise our kids? Are we gonna have the same values?
Do you think that came through, did you think that came through experience, or did you think that came from like, mortality, like you getting older?
Both. I think it's a little bit of both. I think there was a wild streak to me where I'm flirtatious. I like to flirt. So, I can flirt with anybody. Doesn't mean I should, and I think that also, it came with, like I said, getting a little bit older. I'm more like a little bit more serious and I know more about myself now. And then I think the other thing was just kind of like, I guess from just having my experiences with different guys and like not all guys that I have like relations with, but just having different experience with different guys, I think that helped me learn that I was looking for something more. And it made me realize what I did not want. And it made me kind of like figure out what I actually wanted. I think the last person, the guy I talk about a lot, that kind of changed my life and how I perceive things is how I realized what worked for me and what didn't. I feel like now after him, I have a lot more experience when I see a guy that I'm just like, yeah, this junk ain't gonna work for me. And I know very quick and right away, where before I think I would have kind of like played around with it a little bit longer and let it go further than it needed to go. So now I'm just kind of like, yeah, I don't have time for this. And that was something I had to learn because I try to give everybody chances. That's my problem. Like I try to give everybody chances. Oh, let's see how far this goes. And I'm going to give myself some props. I was really proud of myself because I had a person who kept saying they were interested in me, but their actions just weren't lining up. And I told them like, you know what? I am at a point in my life where I just don't feel like I'm what you're looking for and you're what I'm looking for. And I was able to walk away from that and actually feel good about myself instead of me I feel like I used to beg people for their attention or like beg people to do what they needed to do. And I'm not doing that anymore. It's just like, you show me right away that you're interested or you're not. That's it.
Do you think do you think that came through like you abstaining or through your celibacy, like having that clear of mind to make those decisions?
I think it did. I think it did. Like just kind of like, because you have to be in tune with yourself. You have to know what you're looking for. And you can't just let looks dictate. I never was a person who let looks dictate everything, but I feel like I'm a lot more into that. Like you can't let somebody be nice to you and sweet to you one moment and then in that moment be like, oh, okay, that's enough. Like no, there's a lot more that comes with it. You can't
always judge a book by you can never judge a book by its cover.
There's a lot more that comes with it. And also I started reading a lot more books about like relationships and stuff as well. And it kind of helped me sit down and work through, like I literally had a notebook. Well, I was showing Mel
about what you thought.
I wrote a whole thing
of what she's looking for,
and what I'm looking for in a guy. Wrote it out completely, and like it is very detailed and
multiple pages.
And it is multiple pages and things that I can like. There are things that I can compromise on, and there's things that I won't compromise on, and I think that before I wasn't able to do that, like kind of figure out. I was just like, oh, let's just have fun and see where this goes. Now it's like, now I'm not about that. Now I'm like, let's be serious. Let's get this together. Let's be on the same page. Let's get this.
It's very intentional.
So I want to go back to Mel here because
I was going to say, when you were talking about, having the consistent sex, it always starts out that way.
Right.
Like back to back, like every day, every time I see you, like we're doing some type of activity.
Right.
And then, but I wonder it probably changed because now it wasn't more of an escape like we were talking about in past episodes. Now this is, it kind of feels like I'm playing house now.
Okay. All right.
And that low key pisses me off.
But do you also feel like, just a question, do you feel like a part of the reason why you're just not interested in having sex right now with your partner has anything to do with the fact that you just don't want any more kids? Like, are you like afraid at any point that like having sex again is going to lead to?
I'm not scared.
You're not?
Because I went 10 years of having barely any, scares. And then it wasn't until I started considering it, if my mind ain't in it, it ain't gonna happen.
Okay. All right. Well, what do you think is the reason why you, other than like you're playing house, like, do you think it's just the kids and just the workload that you just feel like
I just don't think I deserve it. I don't think that I don't think I deserve to relax and be able to fully let go.
That's problematic, Mel. That's problematic.
That's why we're here.
You need to go to therapy.
That's why we're here.
Would you ever think about going to like a specific sex therapist?
Yeah, I've tried. Yeah. I've tried multiple times, but I don't think I found the right one. And I think because the therapist I went to maybe was too close to home. Like they knew us too personally. I needed more of an objective.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what do you feel like?
And then also, like, I don't look at myself like, oh yeah, I'd have sex with that. Don't pity me. It's just that my priority. Like I got other things to deal with rather than to get on my back and take it.
You're not supposed to just take it. You're supposed to be involved in it.
Right.
You're supposed to be involved.
I said that wrong. I take that back.
You're both supposed to be there on a mental, spiritual, physical level.
But you know, when it is like that, then maybe I do feel a little nervous. I was like, wait, we're getting a little too close. We might just make something. I was like, hold on, I need to pull back. I can't stop looking in your eyes. Oh, shoot. I'm so sorry.
You don't have to apologize. You don't have to apologize. But it's just, okay, so why don't you try this? Because like I said, there are definitely couples who take the time out to, they do like eye gazing with each other during that celibate period.
So remember that episode we did with Say the God Sis?
Yes.
That eye gazing thing?
Mm-hmm.
It was very uncomfortable.
It was uncomfortable.
But the thing is, I like looking at people's eyes. Like that's the only way I communicate. But the eye gazing thing, everything was so quiet and calming, and I just wanted to burst out laughing. Okay. But and then with the eye gazing thing, I was thinking of things that he might be seeing about me, and I just feel like I looked stupid, and that made me want to laugh. I was just like, he's really like looking at this face.
There's nothing wrong with your face, though. Like what? Like
I don't know. I feel like if I was any other person, I'd probably be cutting my wrist or something. Because I don't know how I have these dark thoughts about myself.
Oh my God, Mel. So do you think that there's anything your husband can do to make you feel like more attractive to yourself, or make you feel like you deserve sex, or
stop making everything a joke. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. But that's the thing that makes it light, because we can go from a serious situation and he'll make a joke and I'm like, yeah, everything's all good. And then, but then I'm in the happy-go-lucky mode, right? And then you gotta rear it back, like, oh no, I'm trying to get.
So this is what I'm gonna. You know what I need to do for you? I'm gonna do this for y'all. You know, I should take y'all kids for like.
You gonna take them again?
Yeah, for
you know
like
how
a
much
weekend.
Anxiety that is
for you.
Kind of.
It's anxiety for you, because they don't know anxiety for me.
No. It's for me.
It's anxiety because you're afraid of what? What are you afraid of?
Don't put me on the spot like that.
I am putting you on the spot like that. What are you afraid of?
I don't know why. Like, I feel like every time that the kids leave the house, someone's going to end up getting sick.
Okay. All right.
No.
All right. No, I get that. get that, but it is
something's gonna go wrong. Because we can have the best weekend and then coming back, higher high, have lower lows.
Right.
Them lower lows be jacking me up.
Right. But what else? Like, is that it? Or you feel like they're gonna get hurt? Or
I just want an opportunity that I can get out of this mental escape. Like, I heard someone was going to Cabo. I was like, that gotta be nice. Like, to leave my friend, she just went to Indiana with her husband and another friend.
Mm-hmm.
And like, they left without the kids. I was like, oh, really? What is that?
Yeah, because you take your kids everywhere with y'all. Like, I mean, and I like it and I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. But I think that sometimes, I think kids can kill romance.
Especially when they're in the room with you. Yo,
I mean, obviously, like, I wouldn't want to have sex with my kids there. Like, I wouldn't even.
That's what, like, you talking about celibacy and abstinence? Yo, that was all I needed. I was just like, Coda's right there, and Coda is not afraid to be like, "What are you guys doing?" Because it happened. Darren told me. Coda went out there and sang about the I had no idea. But then you can't even do anything. You just gotta be like, play a possum. You play a possum and Memphis. It's like,
she smacked him on the butt. Hey, Daddy. I thought they had their own rooms. That's what I thought.
Now they do. Okay. I'm talking about when we were at the old place. We were all sharing the room.
No wonder y'all been celibate for so long. So
but Taryn didn't even care. Taryn's just like, go to bed. In mid-stroke. That's why I didn't even know it happened. Because I was somewhere else, because we were in the middle of it. I didn't know what was going on. The room was dark. You gotta give it to Terry. You didn't even skip a beat. You was just like,
oh God, I don't know. That would be petrifying for me. I'm not gonna lie. That would petrify. You know what? If that happened to me, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would not have sex ever again. Ever. That would be like, oh my God.
Exactly.
That would be stuck in my head forever.
Because especially for me, I hope, I really hope that my children are not scarred. Because I was scarred. I was scarred because I guess I should have been minding my business and stayed my ass asleep. I heard, Mom going back and forth to the bathroom. I was like, Mom, are you okay? And I just have, clips in my head of what happened. This was a long, long time ago. And I remember the next day, I went and told my dad. I was just like, guys, y'all gonna be doing this. Can I just go to a sleepover? And at first, he was very apologetic. And then he just got to a point because it kept happening. I was just like, why does this keep happening? He said, Mel, well, it's just going to happen. So you're just going to have to deal with it. Damn.
So you're afraid of scarring your kids at this point. This is what you're afraid of, scarring your kids.
I mean,
so that's
if we're going to treat this as a therapy session, that is another layer upon it.
Okay. All right. So this is what I'm going to say to you, okay? I think that y'all should work on some intimacy.
Some boundaries.
Boundaries, whatever. Spend some time with yourselves outside of... I don't know. Y'all need to spend some time by yourselves with just the two of you and reconnect that intimacy.
Yeah. And it can't be just a couple hours.
Yeah.
It's gotta be days.
Yeah, a weekend or so.
And we if you do take the kids, we have to be intentional. It's we're going to use this time to do this. But Mel be like, well, now that I don't have the kids, let me go and finish those clothes that I didn't fold while they were here.
No.
Let me go do this. Let me go do
Y'all
that.
Y'all need to go away for a weekend. I'll take the kids.
Well, fly us out somewhere, Dale.
I ain't you.
Because you big balling over here.
I ain't big balling at all.
We trying to get flued out.
I can't get flued. I can't flued nobody out. I can take your garbage to the recyclables. That's about the best I can do. I can take it. I can get you a penny for every can. That's about I can do. Help donate towards a flight that I can't fly you out nowhere.
What can I get with all these empty water bottles? I'm trying to go green.
I can't fly you out nowhere, but I can't take the kids. I can take the kids for a week out.
That I appreciate you.
I will, because y'all need to reconnect. Like, yo.
I just told him we don't get too close to make that boy.
There's contraceptives.
Yeah. Well, there's know how I feel.
Yeah. Somebody needs to get their two-sided vasectomy or something.
That's why we practice abstinence.
Yeah, that's why we practice abstinence. But no, like seriously, I think that abstinence can be a tool, especially when trying to figure yourself out.
Abstinence can very well be a tool.
But I feel like if you're married, I feel like there's periods of time where you should do it, but I don't think that that it should be something that happens a lot. And if you are in a relationship with somebody and one of you decides to be abstinent, I think that's a conversation that should definitely be had.
I wouldn't say that I'm choosing to be abstinent.
I know,
but for those,
I feel like you kind of are choosing in your own way, but you don't know why. Or you have to like deep dive and really figure out why you're choosing to be.
Well,
so it might
someone
be
needs
unintentional.
to hold my hand because I can't swim. Because I don't know, I get nervous.
Well, you need to sit by yourself or talk with your husband or talk to God about it, because he said be fruitful and multiply, and you ain't being fruitful at all.
We fruited the place up with these two.
She's like,
y'all don't want no more of our kids.
Y'all
don't want no more of our stuff.
Well, just be like,
I gotta use what my father gave me. My Holy Father. Gotta use them organs.
I'm just gonna say, like, I don't know. I just feel like if I was in a relationship and as soon as I find my partner and I know we're together, I'm a weird person. I don't know if I necessarily am a marriage person, but I wouldn't mind that being on the table. But as soon as I find my life partner, I'm gonna say my life partner, we gonna get it in. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Right now, I'm just choosing to be abstinent because I want to make sure
you find the life partner,
finding the right person, and I'm with the right person. Because I also learned that having it's kind of damaging to have sex with a person who's not for you.
Oh,
it's very damaging.
That's very damaging,
and it messes with your whole psyche, and it
like stuff literally won't work. Like I'm
gonna say this. This is the last note I have on this. I'm gonna say this. When I went through my really like tough, end of relationship that I didn't want, I ended up I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't do anything. Mm-hmm. But the main thing I kept saying over and over again, I don't want anything in me. I don't want anything in me. Mm-hmm. That's why people are like, why aren't you eating? Why aren't you doing that? I'm like, I don't want anything in me.
Yeah.
And I think that it was like a purging of some sort for me, because I was just like, it was a very intimate thing. And I think for a long time, I had mentioned on the episode of the sexual experience episode because I was molested as a kid. I think I tried to make sex not a big deal, because then what happened to me when I was younger wasn't a big deal. And then after I realized, like, you know what, sex is actually a bigger deal than you think it is, or else it wouldn't have affected you so much as a child. And I think that experience is what taught me that. So because of that, ever since then, I've been trying to be like a lot more selective and just really pay attention to what's in me and just like purge myself completely in a lot of different ways. I'm not going to say I haven't messed up, because I have, but now I'm definitely in that mindset of I don't want anything that's not for me in me. And that goes in everything now. If you ever pay attention to me and how I am, like, I make sure I eat things that are right for me. I make sure that I'm
unless it's naan. She makes time for that.
Oh, the bread? Naan. Yeah, I love bread. Oh my God. Y'all don't even understand, but I try so hard to avoid it. But, yeah, with everything, I try to not put things in my body. And even when I'm listening to stuff or different things like that are not good for me. So it's just like a whole thing. So I abstain from a lot of different things now, just because I'm like, yo. And so when I find the person, which I'm not in a rush anymore, but I'm also not, you know, I'm not actively, well, I'm seeking, but how can I put it? I'm not chasing.
Yeah,
I'm not chasing. That's the word I want to use.
Not chasing.
I'm not
you don't want to chase for nothing, because you're not want to act in desperation.
Exactly. And I also know that I'm going to find this person. So that's why right now I'm like, I don't mind abstaining, because I know that I'm going to find something better at some point. So yes. So that's what I'm going to say. And on that note, let's end this episode. Okay. So my top 3 takeaways, like I always say, is number 1, you know, not practicing. I'm not one to tell people what to do or what not to do, because practicing celibacy might not be for everybody. But if you really want to take an insight or a deeper look in yourself and really figure out what you want, I think that is a good step to take. You don't have to do it for as long as I plan on doing it, or, you know, even if you do it for like 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, I think it's just a good time period to really get to learn more about yourself. If you're in a relationship and you decide that you want to abstain from sex for a certain period of time, I'm telling you, you need to talk to your partner about it. And if they don't agree to it, you have to accept that and maybe like really figure out if that's a relationship that's worth staying in. Because you got to do what's best for you at the end of the day. Now, if you're married, that's a different story. I don't know exactly how to evaluate that, but maybe try to like approach it from a different angle. Like, hey, I'm trying to be closer with you. Maybe see a therapist about it, or figure out like different types of love language to show affection, because sex isn't the only way to show affection. And the last thing I'm going to say is make sure that you definitely are doing it for the right reasons. Make sure you have like kind of an idea of what your end goal is out of it. Because sometimes I think that some people are just like, oh, I'm going to do this. And that's why they don't really have like a big vision for it. So because of that, it's harder for them to stick with it or stick with the plan. Like really write down your reason why. I guess that's the best way you can put it. And I know I said this, but also if you mess up, don't beat yourself up. Just get back on the horse and keep riding. That's it. Right. That's all I got to say. Go ahead. Yo,
you said keep riding. She said keep riding, yo. But my takeaways is to piggyback off of what she said. Definitely be intentional. Always move within purpose. So if you're going to be abstinent or you're going to practice celibacy, whether it's, you know, you never had sex before, or you're just taking a step back from your sexual endeavors, definitely know the right reasons why you're doing it. Number 2, communicate with your partner is essential, especially because, you know, it takes 2 to do the do. It takes 2 to do the do. So make sure that you guys are open and honest. Honesty is key. If you decide to change things up, or if your partner decides to change things up, be open to want to figure out what are the changes and what they're going through. Cause, you know, it could be something light, could be this, oh, you know, I just feel like I'm getting too addicted, or it could be something serious like, you know, could be a health issue. It could be anything. And if they really care about you, and if you care about them and you want to help them out, it would be essential to at least get on the same page and know what's going on. Number 3, I want to say, make sure that you yourself have a good relationship with sex. Because as you can see, I don't.
No, she don't. She don't. Clearly, she does not. Like, I mean,
whether, like, you have to... I don't have the best relationship when it comes to sex, and it's showing everywhere. But make sure that you take the time to figure out what that relationship with sex is to you, what that really means. And just because you might like things more vanilla, or maybe you're more, I don't even, what's the opposite of vanilla?
I guess the BDSM life.
Yeah, if you wanted to commit your life to the BDSM lifestyle, she knows what I'm talking about. Just know why you want to do that.
Yeah, and I was gonna say something else. What Bella said, something. Wait, what did she? Oh, sorry, my brain. Oh yeah, like your relationship with sex is very important, because I think that's another reason to do practice celibacy, is like definitely, or staying abstinent, is trying to figure out your own relationship with sex and your own like thoughts and what's going on.
Don't go by what everybody else is saying.
Don't go by anything else, because you might find out you have some deep-rooted issues. Yeah. And I found that out. That's how I had to...
You end up crying over someone.
Shut up. I had to find out I had some really deep-rooted issues. So that's why I say some people... And I think... Sorry, one side note. Now I'm thinking about it. I think that, like, church needs to... Religions and stuff need to kind of, like, be careful about how they preach about sex and stuff, because that's one thing. We grow up thinking that is such a bad thing. Mm-mm. So then when you're actually in the relationships, even if you grow up, like, even if you are married or you wait until you're married, I think there's such a negative connotation to it that it makes us uncomfortable to talk about it. It makes us uncomfortable to even want to do it. And like, then it's just like, oh, we get nervous and we don't know what to do. Yeah. So I'm like a very big advocate of talking about sex, but like in a healthy way, because I feel like there's unhealthy ways to talk about it and there's healthy ways to talk about it. So that's all I'm going to leave like that. And also just for a question for you guys, if there's anybody who has ever practiced celibacy or stayed abstinence for a while, please tell us what your experience was like that, why you decided to do it. And like, what did you gain from it? And as always, you can follow us at
www.allegedlycredible.com. And you can follow us on our social medias. You can go on Facebook and find us under Allegedly Credible. You can go on Instagram
at Allegedly Credible. We're on YouTube. You can watch us on YouTube, and you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can listen to us. And also, last thing, you can follow me at Creative Lady Faye. That's where I put my art and music on Instagram and TikTok. Mm-hmm. And you can also follow my fitness journey if you're interested at Lady Faye 212 on Instagram. All right, go ahead.
You can also follow me on Instagram under Mellow_Supremo. You can find me on Facebook, mostly on the Allegedly Credible page. And you can also, I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's it. All right, guys. Peace out. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.